A small woman is stumbling through the woods near Maryland's Chesapeake Bay. A group of runaway slaves from 200 years ago are following her. An archaeologist named Julie Shablitsky and her team in Maryland have been able to solve a long-standing puzzle about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad since 2020. This video is about an old mystery about Harriet Tubman that has been solved by archaeologists working in Maryland. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get updates every week. Now let's begin. Shablitsky is researching an interesting fish reserve area in the US. She found something very interesting hidden in the marshes while working for the Maryland Archaeology Department and the Wildlife Service. This find helps us understand more about the life of a famous American activist. Schools and colleges have taught about Tubman's part in history for years, but one part of her story has been left out. Shablitsky has learned more about Tubman's past, which gives us an interesting look into the woman who freed many slaves. Last but not least, the truth about Tubman's early life as a slave has been exposed. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery. Her father, Ben Ross, was a train conductor who couldn't read or write, and her mother, Rita Tubman, was a housewife. Even when African-American families got married, they couldn't be sure they would stay together. After she turned 18, Harriet was sent to work for a stranger. Tubman learned a lot of useful skills from her father, who taught her how to do jobs outside, like how to handle oxen, to move logs, and split flax, to make linen traps. Even though she was only 5 feet tall, Harriet worked hard and got surprisingly strong in the tough America before the Civil War. Her skills gave her some freedom, and when her father was set free and given nice land, she could move in with him in the house he had built. Working the land also taught her important survival skills that came in handy when she was trying to free slaves. Tubman married and moved out of her dad's house when she was 22 years old, but she was still not free. She found out about a plan to sell her to another family in 1849. Even though slavery was still legal in Maryland and Delaware, Harriet had the guts to run away. In the North, where she lived, people expect freedom. In Pennsylvania, slaves had been free since 1780. Tubman risked her life by walking 140 miles to Philadelphia, where there was a reward on her head. She made it to Philadelphia by using the survival skills her father taught her to get through the dangerous terrain, but she didn't settle down for a quiet life once she was free. After that, she spent the next 10 years of her life helping slaves in the South. Tubman hid herself and led runaway slaves to safety in the North on at least 13 trips back to Maryland. Researchers in the field of history say that she helped about 70 people, including her family and friends, get free. She was an important part of the Underground Railroad, which helped thousands of slaves get to free states by setting up safe houses and escape paths. Many kind people had to work together on this complicated plan, and some of them are still unsung stars today. People today are interested in things that were important in Tubman's life. For example, her shawl is on show at the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture. These things give us a look into the life of a woman who made a big difference in American history. An important place for people to visit is the Harriet Tubman National Historic Park in Auburn, New York. But when Marcia Pradines took over as head of the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge, she became interested in the site's interesting past. An archaeologist from Maryland named Julie Shablitsky got in touch with Pradines, and the two of them made a plan to find Tubman's father's house. To find the house at first, Shablitsky and her team used old records to get a rough idea of where it was. The researcher chose to use a metal detector in a new area even though he didn't know much about it. There, the riddle started to come together because the detector made a sound while moving over an old road. This stroke of luck led to the finding of many artifacts, one of which was an 1808 coin. As the digging went on, more things were found, like broken bricks, buttons, pipe ends, and nails. The team also found many pieces of ceramic, which helped them figure out that the cabin was lived in between the 1820s and 1840s. All of these discoveries led to the confirmation of where Tubman's childhood house was. The finding was made public at a news conference in April 2021, which got people interested in history very excited. Julie Shablitsky talked about how important the house is to Tubman's history. She said that the country was Tubman's school and that it helped her grow and change. The cabin's discovery shines light on an important part of Tubman's life that had been hidden until now. Even though we thought we knew everything about Harriet Tubman, this new information shows that we still don't know much about her as a young woman or as an old woman who led people to freedom. Kate Clifford Larson also talked about how important the find is, saying that it gives us more information about Tubman's life and the group that shaped her. As word of the find spread, more details about Tubman's time at the house came to light. Her dad taught her the most important skills for life, and she also talked to sailors who came through Baltimore's shipyards. These sailors, some of whom were African-American blackjacks, taught her how to use the stars to find her way and how to get to places other than the eastern shore. The spot will become part of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad's tourist-friendly railway tunnel once Shablitsky and her team are done with their work. This self-drive tour takes you from eastern Maryland to Philadelphia and connects more than 30 important places in Tubman's life. To bring even more of Tubman's history to life along the path, the cabin of her father or a memorial to its location should be added. There are also plans to build a network of trails around the house, but the team is having trouble because the groundwater level is rising and putting their careful work at risk. At Tubman's father's house, the excavation is giving us a chance to relive Ben Ross's life and learn more about who he was. The spot is off limits to the public right now so that it can be preserved. Not even Tubman's children and grandchildren have been able to visit. They have, however, been sent pictures of the items that were found and have said that they enjoy feeling closer to their famous ancestor. It is very important to keep this link alive for future generations. Finding Harriet Tubman's childhood house in Maryland has given us a lot of information about her early life and the people who shaped her. Julie Shablitsky and her team of archaeologists solved the puzzle by using historical records and metal detectors to find the site of the house. The things that were found give us more information about Tubman's childhood, the skills she learned from her father, and her job as an Underground Railroad dispatcher. This discovery is important for more reasons than just Tubman's story. It helps us learn more about American history and the fight for freedom. The site is being considered for inclusion in the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad tourist route. This would allow visitors to experience and learn from Tubman's amazing trip to freedom. The find reminds us that there is always more to learn and uncover about the lives of historical figures. It also makes us want to keep digging into the past to learn more about our common human heritage. That's all for today. What do you believe about this amazing find? Please tell us in the comments. Kindly share and like our movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates.